When I was a kid, or better yet, when I was a boy, I thought this Hulk movie was weird. Not bad, but see, when you hear about Hulk, you expect chaos, action, and of course, smashing. No, not that kind of smashing. No, go away, Hulk, shoot. And yeah, the movie definitely has its moments. But underneath it all, it's doing something completely different. Because this movie, while rewatching it again after a few years, felt kind of uncomfortable. You get this eerie opening, seeing animals being experimented on, a father completely obsessed with his work, and crossing any line that he needs to get the results that he wants, even if it means experimenting on himself. And not only that, but Danny Elfman's score for this is fantastic and also filled with mystery and just pain, because this story is mostly about trauma. See, Bruce Banner isn't just dealing with turning into the Hulk. Of course, it's all cool and stuff, and we want to see that. But this version of the Hulk is dealing with years of repressed memories, pain, and things he's just never fully understood as a child. And I feel like this is what layers Bruce Banner into such an interesting character. And that's the thing about this version of Hulk. He's not treated like a hero. He's treated more like a monster. And I mean, you could kind of say that with all the Hulk movies that have come out. But this feels way closer to something like Frankenstein and those old school monster movies. And I mean, you could say, he obviously was inspired by those legendary monsters. You can even see it in the comics. He literally looks like the monster in Frankenstein. And while we really want to see that first transformation of him becoming the Hulk and just going on a rampage, the first transformation, while it is impressive, it's a transformation filled with pain. You see it in his eyes. It's anger and confusion and all those years of trauma finally taking form. And while a lot of people had issues how this movie was edited, especially with those comic book panel transitions and splitting the screen and showing multiple angles at once, I really didn't mind it. I enjoyed the whole fact that it's, again, a comic book movie and we're seeing a comic in real life. But I get why it didn't work, because when you're making a movie that's tackling these serious topics, when you have that going on, it feels like you're trying to do two things at the same time. It doesn't fully work on it. And when talking about those action scenes, he fights Hulk dogs. But honestly, it was pretty cool to see that. And can we just talk about that? One of these Hulk dogs just literally bites him right in the groin area. Can you imagine getting punched in the nuts by the Hulk? Just think about that. The excruciating pain that you're gonna get. But see, one of the most powerful moments in this movie aren't even those action sequences. It's the moments between Bruce, his father, Betty, and her father. When Bruce finally transforms into the Hulk for the first time, and he sees his father place his hand on his face, he finally feels, his father's touch, and it's rather sad when you think about it. There's a mix of emotions going on between their eyes, and you can really see that reflecting on both characters. A mix of pride and regret, and then just something broken between them. And that's something that I want to mention real quick. The visual effects for this movie, for being a 2003 movie and seeing the Hulk for the first time in full-size live action, he looks fantastic, especially the facial emotions that he has. And you also get a really good connection between Betty and Bruce, and that's one of the things that I've always liked about the Hulk, especially those early stories in the movies, even in the Incredible Hulk movie in 2008, just exploring that relationship that him and Betty have, that they understand each other. Because her and Bruce are, in a sense, cut from the same cloth when you think about it. Both traumatized by their fathers. Man, when you really think about it, this movie has a lot of daddy issues. And then we move on to the final confrontation between Bruce and his father. That scene, when they're fighting in the clouds and lightning striking, and you see different action poses as they're fighting. That is a beautiful shot. It almost looks like two Greek gods fighting. And then the Danny Elfman score. Dude, that is such an awesome scene. But it brings in one of the best moments in the entire movie when his father is basically trying to harness the Hulk power, right? And then Bruce just lets it out and just screams really loud, saying, "Take it all." It's really cool and visually appealing and very satisfying to their very tragic father-son relationship. But I think those deeper themes stuck with me for the long run and gave me a sort of appreciation for it. And honestly, I would rate this one of the most underrated comic book movies of all time. The whole character as a whole is awesome, and that's why I think the whole character has stuck around with us for many years. But aside from the movie, of course, this is a comic book movie that's marketed towards kids, and you saw that completely. Again, like always, you got promotional things like cereal boxes and toys, and of course, awesome Hulk gloves. Did anybody remember those? Those were so awesome. They were much bigger than the ones that we get nowadays for kids. My grandmother actually got them for me for my birthday, and then I also got the Hulk costume, which, he kind of was around pre-transformed in there. You see like the clothes ripping out already. And I would wear that to Halloween. And it was just so awesome. I mean, if you see in this video right here, I mean, I punched my sister right in the head because I mean, I am the Hulk. But it was awesome. And you could almost say that it was Hulk mania. In a sense. The toys were also pretty cool, although I only really had one Hulk toy, and it was like this big vinyl figure. There were two of them really. One of them had the blue pants and he had the serious face, and then there was the one that I had which had the purple pants and he was like screaming. It was really cool. I still have this figure and it's freaking awesome and so well detailed. I even had a Hulk birthday themed party and it was just so cool. You see all that Hulk merchandise, a lot of green you would see. But the best part of it all was of course the video games. I mean, come on, we have to mention that. And there were two games that came out in this era of the Hulk really. One of them was a tie-in movie license game, which honestly is technically the sequel to this movie. It takes place a few months later and it kind of goes through some of the rogue galleries. I mean, you even fight the leader in the final boss battle, which is pretty awesome. And the graphics on it, I think it's aged pretty well because it has this cel-shaded look to it. Pretty awesome stuff. The only downside to that game was the Bruce Banner stealth missions. Now, while this game didn't come out for the movie, it came out I think 2 years later, it is, I would say, and for a lot of people, the greatest Hulk game to ever come out. And it's wild that it's never been released again. I mean, it did, but we'll talk about that later. I'm talking about Hulk Ultimate Destruction by Radical Entertainment. This game is freaking a masterpiece of fun, really, when you think about it. It's silly, it's very video gamey, but it's so cool. I mean, you can go anywhere as the Hulk. You can grab people, you can throw them, you fight the Abomination, and you even fight the Devil Hulk, if I'm not mistaken. That part always creeped me out as a kid. The game did obviously kind of get re-released in a sense, but it was for the 2008 Incredible Hulk movie. The assets for that game were basically used for that. But the quality just wasn't there at all. I mean, there was a lot of pop-ins and everything. And I mean, you can blame that because it's a movie tie-in game and they don't have a lot of time, but it wasn't that good of a game. But with all that being said, I think this era, or at least this movie in particular, really stuck with me because I just didn't really understand it. I liked it, but it was strange. It felt different from watching the other comic book movies that we were getting around that time. And watching it now, I kind of realized that that was the point. It wasn't trying to be the loudest or biggest superhero movie ever. And I know that kind of doesn't really make sense, especially when you are a Hulk movie. But I feel like the director Ang Lee was just trying to show us something a little deeper. And if you guys enjoy these type of videos where we look back at certain eras of movies, video games, and just pop culture in general, go ahead and check out the rest of the channel. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching and have a great day.